It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my watch. Yeah.
Happy holidays, everybody. So nice to be with you. We sort of got frozen out on Friday. We apologize for that. All is well in the world. Everything's fixed up now, thanks to MLGW and a lot of people who worked hard to get a generator going. J-Mo in the house as well. I'll come to you live from Dallas tomorrow. We'll be leaving right after this to go for the First Responder Bowl in Gerald J. Ford Stadium. Nothing to do with the former president of the United States, just a wealthy guy who's given a lot of money to SMU, and it'll be Memphis, Utah State, and that will wrap up the football season on Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon, actually. Gosh, this is really compacted the way it works. Then Wednesday's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Kansas, Arkansas already in the city and enjoying some of those activities. And then we got college football playoffs, and then everything kind of wraps up. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll talk college football with our coach, John Thompson. We only got a couple more weeks left with him. Then we'll talk at 10:45 with Jason Munns, Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us, and we'll talk end of non-conference, beginning of conference, actually on Thursday against USF. It'll be the last appearance, at least in any kind of college uniform, for Tyler Harris at FedEx Forum.
Homecoming.
It'll be a homecoming for Tyler. They're not a very good team, but he's their best scorer. Number one in the stats thus far, at least at the last glimpse I had. So we'll chat a little bit about that and how important the conference and number of wins in conference the Tigers must have in order to get a decent seeding. So it's really interesting. Today, Lenardi, who do you think is the best bracketologist? I really don't know the answer to this. Is it Lenardi or is it Palm? I would have to say those are the two guys that are recognized as the premier guys that figure out the NCAA tournament.
And only one is a regular guest on Sports 56, so I'm going to have to go with Jerry Palm.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you
no.
for this year. And I only say it for a very selfish reason. Lenardi has the Tigers as a 6 seed.
I saw that. With a green, he was highlighted in green, which means those are teams that he feels have a 75% chance or better, I think he said, to get in. So that's really positive.
So he's got them as a 6 seed playing the winner of the play-in game in Dayton between Oklahoma and Creighton. If you win that, you would play Duke, which I think is a gettable team. So I love that setup. I hate Jerry Palm's prediction because Jerry Palm has them as a 9 seed playing Charleston. Charleston's ahead of the Tigers? Come on. They're the 8 seed, and then you'd have to play Purdue, which at this point is the number 1 seed. That is not a very good positioning by Jerry Palm.
Charleston won that, I guess they hosted the tournament, so it's a home tournament.
Right.
But they won that tournament they hosted. I think they've only lost one game to North Carolina, who is a very good basketball team, obviously, but they're slipping a little bit too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think as a 6 seed, Memphis can get to the Sweet 16 seed. As a 9 seed, highly unlikely. Although last year in that 8-9 position, they should have beaten the number 1 seed Gonzaga. That was not the number 1-1. But we've seen the number 1-1 lose to a 16. So anything crazy can happen. We'll see how all this plays out. We'll talk with Jason Munns about that at about 10:45. So the Grizzlies, is it fair to say they laid a major egg last night?
More than fair. No
I
Steph.
mean, we have talked, and no Wiggins.
And no Wiggins.
So
And then no Poole in the fourth quarter. But the game was already decided.
Yeah, it was done. So let me start with, before we go over some particulars, because Dylan Brooks blasted the referees. They did get one thing just incredibly wrong, where they put Klay Thompson at the line when the foul was clearly committed on James Wiseman.
Right.
It was the grabbing of his jersey. How they missed that, and here's the worst part: the announcers are saying you got to right the wrong. You got to put the right guy at the line, at least for the second shot. You can't let Klay Thompson shoot them both when you've got Taylor Jenkins yelling at the officials. You've taken the wrong guy. Go check it. You've taken the wrong guy. Everybody in the stadium knows they've taken the wrong guy, and 3 officials absolutely are blind to it. Or maybe you just had one guy that was stronger than the other 2, and he wasn't going to change his mind, the guy that made the call. I don't know. But clearly, that is something that is outrageous. That you could miss. Three guys could miss that, or 2 guys and a gal that could miss that. Crazy to me. I do think myself that it was poorly officiated. They let it get out of hand. And I don't know why. I guess once Draymond Green gets one tech, he's got a license to kill. He's 007. Because he can do whatever he wants to after that, and they don't toss him. They did toss Poole, but Draymond Green was really a jerk pretty much the whole game and getting away with a bunch of stuff. It's amazing to me that is allowed. And I do think it affected the way the game was played. But really and truly, when it comes down to it, that's not what beat the Grizzlies. But what did you think of the officiating? Are we being homers when we talk about how poor it was? Because I really do think it was one of the worst NBA officiating games I've seen in a while.
Well, you mentioned the free throw. That's a bad call. That's a tough scene to have that happen. It's such a big game. It's the only NBA game on. Everyone's watching it. That's a tough scene. I'm probably not the best person to ask about that kind of thing because I generally side with the officiating. And the Warriors did have, 5, 6 technicals called against them,
5,
too?
Yeah, 6, I think, and the Grizz had 1. Yeah,
and that was a delay of game one, too, so it's
right.
Not like someone got out of hand or something like that.
To me, what was interesting is, and I could be influenced by, honestly, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, because they were the ones that were saying, oh, my gosh, this is terrible. They keep missing these calls. You got to write that. Oh, this is terrible. So, that has an influence on me. I kind of see it that way, but if they're reinforcing that, it lends me to think that there were a lot of mistakes that were made in this game by this crew. And what's surprising to me is the people that were on this crew. If they're that inefficient, how are they getting what is considered the prime game on ESPN that night? And the reason I say that was the prime game is because they had the number 1 announcing team on that game. So it's considered the top game. And you did not have the top crew on there.
And Dylan Brooks said something similar after the game, too. At the same time, though, I don't think it is any kind of determining factor in the game. It is a factor that, maybe the officials weren't, like you said, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy even pointed out. So they're as unbiased as it gets when they're announcing basketball games, so it probably is poor officiating. I just don't always see it as a determining factor, so that's why I say I'm probably not the best person to ask about the officiating wonders. But you're right, though. I mean, that free throw's a terrible look. In a primetime game on national TV, standalone game for the NBA, right. Not a great look.
No, and those announcers are paid by the NBA. I think the NBA tries to be pretty fair about that and allow for there to be critiquing and criticism. But it was not a good look for the league, I don't think, with this crew last night, honestly. But that's not what cost the Grizzlies the game. I mean, let's be honest. What cost the Grizzlies the game was the worst 3D that you could have. They allowed the Golden State Warriors to shoot over 50% from three-point range for almost the whole game. At the end, they were 18 of 44, which is 41%. Well, the Grizz made 9 threes the whole game out of 39 attempts. That's 23%. That's the difference of 27 points when you can't shoot, but 23%, not even 1 out of 4 from three-point range. You're not winning games when you allow that many threes and you can't score them.
Yeah, I mean, you allow opponents to make 9 more threes. At certain points in the game, it was 10 more threes than you make. You're not going to win many basketball games playing basketball like that. It's just not a recipe for success either. And you got also a lot of guys in foul trouble, specifically Jaren Jackson getting in foul trouble. I mean, can't stay on the floor. That's a huge factor in the game as well.
Well, that's a big part of it. And he's going to get a rush from me in a little bit.
Me too.
When you ended up playing only 20 minutes. But
10 at the end of 3 quarters. He only played 10 minutes.
You're right. So when he picked up his 5th foul, he had played 11 minutes. This is why he gets the rust. He had in the beginning of the 4th quarter, he had played 11 minutes. He had 4 points and 5 fouls. We all are in agreement. Poole goes out in the 4th quarter. The game's over, right? So when he's allowed to finally play again and get some minutes, 9 more minutes, game's over.
And
It's already been decided.
I saw people that write for the Grizzlies, not in like any publication, but like, bloggers or whatever. There's tons of NBA blogs or whatever, saying that blaming Taylor Jenkins. Well, you have to leave him on the court. He can't be on the bench that long just because he has foul troubles. You're taking him out of the game. He's not taking himself out of the game. I completely disagree. If he can't guard who he's guarding because he keeps fouling, he's also not doing you any favors by being on the floor.
And that's the other thing that casual fans and these bloggers that really don't get the game. They only see the offensive side of the court.
That's exactly right.
They don't understand that there are 94 feet, and that there is another side that you've got to play that is incredibly important. That is where I've always thought that Ja had if he was going to be a superstar, he had to get better, and I think he has gotten a little bit better. I don't think he's a great defensive player by any means, but I think he's improved last year in the playoffs how he was getting picked on. Now, we'll know in the playoffs if that's the case again, but Ja was the only guy that really came to play last night. 36.7 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. On the night his shoe gets debuted, it was really good, but he was the only guy. I mean, we talked a little bit about Triple J, who has to learn how to play without fouling. I mean, that's been a problem his whole career, and it was a glaring mistake, lack of improvement, whatever you want to call it, last night on one of the bigger non-playoff games that you can have on Christmas Day when you're the prime game. I hate to say it, but Desmond Bane is obviously very rusty.
Very.
2 of 13, and he's the one guy that can, maybe match Klay Thompson and Poole and all those guys that shoot threes for Golden State, and he goes 0 for 7 from 3. Brooks, 4 of 12 and 1 of 6. He's much better at glaring than he is at shooting. I mean, that was terrible. James Wiseman did play in the game. He played 8 minutes, 5 rebounds, 0 points. He's still got a long way to go. At least he's playing on Christmas Day instead of playing in the G League, which he was playing in for a little bit.
That's absolutely right. Going back to Jaren, too, especially with Santi Aldama playing so much better, I think on the defensive end, too, he's really contributing in a big way. That's big. Jaren has to pick it up for that because Santi Aldama is not a 35-minute-a-game player. You mentioned Desmond Bane. I remember at the beginning of the year, he also had a little slow start.
He sure did.
Now, I don't know if this is due to injury too, but it could just be like we just said early in the season he was slow to get going too. So maybe game 3, game 4, he'll start to find it again.
You know what? He said you got to get your wind back. I think you also have to get your feet back, your legs, because threes are made from your legs. It is how you use your body totally, and it all starts with your legs and the explosion up. So, I think with Bane there is an excuse. I don't know about Brooks and Triple J. I mean, if he's going to be the player, the number 2 guy on this team and a big carrier of this team and all defense and all that goes with that, he has got to learn to play without fouling.
Another tough number I saw, too, Ja's been shooting 3 exponentially better this season.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the last 6 games, he is 7 of 36 from 3. That's 19%. Now, that's just 6-game sample size, so it's not a big sample, but that's been a tough stretch for him these last 6 games.
Well, and most of those games are on the road.
That's right.
I don't know what it is. I mean, the Grizzlies are, what are they, 14-3 at home, 13-3 at home? They had the second best record. Golden State's really good at home. They're 14-2 or 13-2 now. I mean, they're really good at home, but the Grizzlies are awful on the road.
Yeah,
I mean, the win in Phoenix was amazing.
Grizzlies now 7-10 on the road. Like you said, a win in Phoenix is huge because they would have dropped out
they had to
6-11.
have
They had to have it.
They got it, and that was wire-to-wire domination. That's why I thought, after they looked terrible in Denver, that's why I thought, okay, this Golden State team is really not that good. And Curry's not going to play. I didn't even know Wiggins wasn't going to play. And so on paper, you're thinking this should be the Grizzlies' night. They just never, they had 1 2-point lead in the game. I think that's it.
That's right. Just one.
Yeah, it was not a good scene. 123-109, Golden State in the big revenge game, the prime game on ABC and ESPN, the big Christmas drama. Turns out to be more upsetting than joyous for Grizzlies fans. All right. We got to give medals. We do that in a second. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Christmas is over, but I don't think the Christmas sale is. It'll probably go all the way through New Year's, where you can still get excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboard, and saunas. We're talking tired and sore from shopping. I know you did. You went out, you got your last-second shopping in amongst the cold and the frozen pipes and everything else. Check out the huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. And you can surprise the kids with maybe a new arcade, a game table, or a play gym. That may be over because you did that for Christmas, but they still got great prices, really great prices at Family Leisure. It's time for Precious Medals. I'm going to give Pittsburgh Steelers a bronze medal. I'm going to do that because they did rally past Oakland. And afterwards, they said, well, they were doing this for Franco Harris. And so that really warmed my heart. And what was incredible? It was a different Harris, Najee Harris, who played a major role in the game. And Kenny Pickett's getting better, huh? I mean, he's looking like the guy that he was supposed to be. Najee Harris is 95 yards. Now the Steelers are 7-8. And you know that Mike Tomlin has never been under 500 in his entire coaching career at Pittsburgh. Didn't look like there was any chance the Steelers would end up over 500 this year, but they got a chance now. They got 2 games left. They're 7-8. Pickett seems to be coming together. Harris is a very solid guy. I think they deserve, for the memory of Franco, a bronze medal. I got to give Buffalo, the Bills, a bronze medal too. They clinched their 3rd straight NFC East divisional title. The New England who? That division is now owned by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I'll give a silver medal to Air Force coach Troy Calhoun. I know he's been there a long time.
17 years.
Yeah, but not as long as Ken Niumatalolo was at Navy. But this guy's unbelievable. He has now had 3 straight 10-win seasons at the Air Force Academy. 10 wins 3 years in a row, and they beat Baylor 30-15 in their bowl game. I give a silver medal to Baker Mayfield. I've been ripping that guy his entire career. There's something that really irks me about him, but you got to give credit when credit is due. He looked amazing against a woeful Denver team. Their coach, he's done. One and done, right? He's been
That's
awful.
what it seems like. But who would want that job the way everything has gone through?
It's an NFL job in Denver.
Well, that's true, too.
I think they'll find somebody. Baker Mayfield was 24 of 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. The L.A. Rams never punted. Never punted. In fact, they scored on every drive except the last one where they took a knee. I mean, that's pretty amazing. 51-14, that is your score. The Rams over Denver, and Baker Mayfield, of all people, gets my silver medal. And my gold goes to the Nike ad with Ja Morant and his daughter. They unveiled that Ja shoe. I know some people have been taking rips on Twitter pertaining to the logo they have for that with Ja, the way it's Ja and the Nike swoop underneath. I think it's cool looking. I like it.
I like it too.
Some people have ripped it. I think it's good. I thought that ad was so cute. Where she goes, I got a present for you, Dad. Let me help unwrap it. It's a surprise like me. That was funny. It was good stuff. I think it deserves a gold.
It was great. It's good to see. And that's a big time, too. There's so few players that have signature deals like that. It's great for John.
Yeah, well, we looked this up. Kyrie Irving's deal, which ended in November. So they got rid of him before this anti-Semitic rant and all the stupid stuff that he's done. But he was making $11 million a year. So if Ja is going to be NBA All-Pro, right? There's no doubt about that. So if he gets that, he gets to $243 million, right?
That's right.
So what is that, about $35 million a year?
Yeah.
And then another 10
No.
to 15? This guy's making $45 to $50 million a year, and he's going to be doing that for the next 10 years.
What a deal.
It's incredible. Good for Ja. But I just love the story. I just do.
It's great. My bronze medal goes to also that Broncos-Rams game, but specifically to the Nickelodeon broadcast. I watched the Slime broadcast yesterday.
Oh, you did? That's Iron Eagle's son?
Iron Eagle's son, Nate Burleson, and they have a kid doing it with them. But it was a lot of fun specifically.
Wait. Didn't they have wasn't the son of Chris Collingsworth, Jack Collingsworth, wasn't he on that broadcast? He'd done it with Iron Eagle before.
He wasn't there this time.
Ah.
I think he's on an NBC deal now, so a different company.
Ah.
But it was really good. Specifically, they had actor Bill Fagerbakke, who plays Patrick Star in the SpongeBob show. He was there.
Got me on that one.
He was commentating on some of the game, and Russell Wilson threw a pick, and he was just ripping him. I mean, as in character, as cartoon Patrick Starr's like, you think he cooked on that one? He didn't quite cook on that one. It was great stuff. I love it. They got a winner out of me. My silver medal goes to the Panthers, who win their game in dramatic fashion against the Red Hot Lions. 320 rushing yards in that game, a franchise record.
Boy,
I love
hurt,
Steve Wilkes.
That hurt the Lions.
It did.
And it helped the dang Green Bay Packers,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going to play each other last game of the year.
They will.
Come on, Lions. And this Aaron Rodgers crap. They're getting better, though. The Packers are getting better.
They are beating the Dolphins. That was crazy.
But Carolina, wow.
Unbelievable. Steve Wilkes, I love Steve Wilkes, a great coach. Only got 1 year in Arizona to hire Cliff Kingsbury, of all people, totally unfairly. I'm glad that he's making a name for himself and doing a great job.
So what's going to happen in that division? Because you got three teams now.
A big road win for the Bucs, though, too. And then the Saints win. Everyone's winning in the NFC South.
But that's a three-way battle now with Carolina, New Orleans, and the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, that was very fortunate to come back. Again, fourth quarter, down by 10, and Brady looks terrible the whole darn game, and then
Overtime thriller.
the lights are on, well, he gets to 10 points, and then wins it in overtime.
That's
Incredible.
right. And then my gold medal, I got two basketball ones. The Mavs hanging 50 points in the
Wow.
third quarter against the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then Jokic last night, and probably the best game of the day, overtime game with the Nuggets last night, had 41 points, 15 assists, and 15 rebounds. And also Aaron Gordon might have had the dunk of the year.
Well,
in
that was
game.
at Phoenix, right?
That was in Phoenix.
Yeah.
No, that was in Denver.
Oh, it was in Denver?
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, Booker tried to play because it's Christmas,
And
right?
then he was out.
And he lasted a quarter or less.
Barely
Yeah.
quarter, yeah.
The Anthony Davis thing.
Best player in the league the last 20 games, but he can't stay on the floor.
No.
It's unbelievable.
No.
LeBron needs a little bit of help. He's in his late 30s. Like, he just needs a little help.
You know what I saw is the last, 6 games or something, LeBron is averaging more minutes, like 31 minutes a game. That's more than he was when he was young.
He's trying to will this team to win. He just he parked his cart to the wrong horse, as they say.
Good goals. That's it, right?
That's it. That's all I got.
I got 2 rusts. I'm going to start with the Bengals. It's not really their fault. They end up winning the game, overtime, heck of a game. Get on their team plane. It takes off from Rhode Island. This is, I guess, the closest airport to Gillette Stadium, or the easiest, in outside of Boston. And they take off, and they have engine trouble while they're in the air. They have to land emergency at JFK. It's fine. They end up landing. They end up getting home at 1 in the morning. They were supposed to be home at 9. Wasn't quite the Christmas joy they were hoping for on Christmas Eve, but nobody got hurt. But we'll give a rust to the plane.
Yeah,
for
night.
having engine trouble, but thank God nobody else got hurt. And then I got to give a rust to Triple J. I mean, you played in the middle, in the beginning of the fourth quarter. You played all of 11 minutes, 5 fouls, 4 points. I mean, you did not help your team at all yesterday. There's no doubt about that.
I agree. My rust also goes to Triple J. I don't think anything more needs to be said. You hit the nail on the head.
That's it.
That's it.
Those are our precious medals. Our title sponsor for this wonderful program, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where actually we had a little issue, and I got to tell you, they took care of us. It was a little oil problem, and we got a loaner. They take care of you at Homer Skelton Hyundai with service, with their pre-owned department, and now you know they're getting more and more new cars in, and to entice you to get a new Hyundai. Best products on the market, I think. You can get a new Hyundai right now. Go in, get a Santa Fe, a Tucson, an Elantra, a Veloster, anything, a Palisade. Walk out of there, drive it off the lot, and don't worry about paying for 90 days. A deferment payment all the way through January where you get a brand new car and you don't pay for 3 months. 90 days at Homer Skelton Hyundai. We'll pause for just a second. When we come back to Atlanta, we'll talk college football playoffs and a whole lot more with our coach. That is John Thompson, and he is next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to find a new ride at Gossett Mitsubishi's year-end sales event, where you'll find the perfect deal to start your new year. Get 31 MPG combined in your new 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $249 a month, or buy for just $17,100, or get $1.9 for 36 months. Or take your pick from 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $389 a month, or get $1.9 for 36 months. And if you're looking for peace of mind in your new ride, you'll get Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $249 a month, or buy for just $17,100. 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander for $389 a month, or get $1.9 for 36 months. Shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage PH 00513 MSRP 17.6, Eclipse PZO 11573 MSRP 29,855, Outlander PZ 007969 MSRP 30,235, includes all rebates and incentives, excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 12/31/22. Dealer stock only.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, yeah, it's the new year, no doubt about it. And if you're considering moving into a bigger home, maybe scaling down, moving out of town, Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf Realtors can help advise, and they can help you. They don't care. It's the holiday. Believe me, they're working. Even if you're thinking of just improving your home, Sheldon can tell you renovations will make you more money in the future, and that is all based on recent data. That's the thing about my man, Sheldon. He keeps up 24/7 with all of the way the market fluctuates, what's going on, you know, the laws of supply and demand. He is all over all of that. In the real estate business, people often say, you want the job done, you call Sheldon. That's true, but he does admit that he's probably the worst golfer in town because he spends so much time helping clients. So if you want to sell your home quickly at a really good price based on that wonderful program, that strategic marketing program I'm talking about involving preparation and presentation, please call. Sheldon's number is 483-0546, or if you need someone with a really high handicap and you can't get out of the sand trap, you can also call Sheldon because he's used to being there. That's 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. We relocate to Atlanta, Georgia. Our coach, that's John Thompson. He's standing by. Merry Christmas. Belatedly, Happy New Year to you.
You too. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, Dave. Hope everything's going well. Thank you.
It is. I want to talk a little TCU, Michigan with you, maybe a little First Responder Bowl, Memphis and Utah State. But is there a time that you say to yourself, I'm really kind of glad I'm not a coach these days because of NIL, transfer portal, all the thing that goes into roster management now, where it all changes over. And Ryan Silverfield likes to say it's 35% per year now that you're going to have turnover. That's just the way it's going to be, that you're going to have to remake your team every year. It's got to be much harder to be a college football coach than it was, say, 10, 15 years ago.
No question. I mean, what a headache it is. I mean, do you oversign at the early or undersign? And I think it's even tougher on, first or second year head coaches with everything that goes in. But, the term roster management, I mean, that is a key element in running a football team now. You got to have people that are constantly dealing with that. But I think it goes back to the coaches that are going to be successful now are the best communicators. I mean, whatever style you have. I mean, it just comes to mind. You look at the style that Deion Sanders has, or you look at the style that Kirby Smart has. Those are two really polar opposite type guys, but they communicate with their team. A year ago, Georgia was in the hunt for Caleb Williams. They tried hard to get Caleb Williams, and they had Stetson Bennett coming back. And Stetson Bennett goes and is at the Heisman Trophy presentation. But they have to. You got to communicate with your team, and it's awfully difficult to decide. How many you're going to take. Are you going to how much time you spend recruiting your own players, and then how much time you look out there and you say, okay, we're losing a stud at this position. We got to go find one to replace it.
Are you surprised at Coach Prime and his success? And there's two things here. I guess he was a high school coach, so he did a little bit of coaching before he got the job at Jackson State, and then he dominated. And he's I've been trying really hard to think about this. I'm not sure there's ever been an HBCU guy that went to a Power 5 from the HBCU school. He's the first. Are you surprised at his success, and what do you think he will do at Colorado?
Well, first of all, I think when you say real, I think he's himself, and he's embraced that one. When a guy can sit up there and says that he doesn't use cologne, it's confidence that you smell that comes off of him. Yeah. I mean, who can say that and get by with it? But you know what? He's been everywhere and he used it. I heard an interview with him just a couple of days ago, and he talked about Mickey Andrews. Mickey Andrews is an old school, old-time coach at Florida State. Well, if Deion goes back and he gets some information and some knowledge or some things that Mickey Andrews taught him. Hey, all coaches my dad used to say, hey, if you get it from one, it's stealing. If you get it from two or three, it's research. So obviously, Dion has researched all the many places and coaches and things that he has done. Yeah, and you know what? People on the inside that were around Jackson State, and even some coaches that are at Jackson State, have told me that Dion's doing everything the right way behind the curtain also. I mean, he's the king of social media. He's the king of all of that garnering that attention. But behind the curtain and how he's dealing with players, coaches, roster, all the things that go on, that Dion's doing the right thing and teaching these young guys, really, it's still, they're in college. There's still a part of a coach that has got to help raise these guys into being better men down the road.
It'll be fun to watch. I tend to think he's going to be successful at Colorado.
I do too. 100%.
Time will tell. All right, we got Memphis and Utah State.
Yes,
sir. In the first responder bowl, back to Gerald J. Ford Stadium we go. Didn't work out that well, although it was a really good game last time we were there a month ago in Dallas. Tigers are favored by 7. Utah State has a coach named Blake Anderson that I know you are very familiar with and almost worked for.
Well, I was at Arkansas State when he came in, and we had communication, and it just did not work out. The powers that be at Arkansas State wanted a quarterback coach as their head coach, so I moved on to Texas State with Dennis Franchione. But hey, you know what? I think that Memphis is sitting in a really, really good spot in this game. The pace of their offense, their tempo, and Harrigan, and the big play that Memphis does, I think that matches up really well against Utah State. I'm not sure about their running game. That the running back is going to be key in this game, but they're going to have to run the football. Utah State is going to have to run the football very well, or I think Memphis has a chance to run them out of the gym. I think they're better. I think Utah State has had a very inconsistent season, which in some ways Memphis has too. But I just think Memphis is sitting in a very good spot for this game.
The interesting aspect for me in this game is you're so right. I thought Memphis got better against the run as the year went on, but against really good running backs, they struggled a bit. Tajay Spears had a big game against them at Tulane. The kid at East Carolina is a really good back. He had a pretty good game. So it'll be interesting. But if they get him, I don't think there's much chance at all for Utah State.
Well, if the Tigers get a lead, and I think they can, tempo has been a problem for Utah State, and heck, Anderson, came in at Arkansas State, was the king of tempo, coming from Baylor and doing all that.
Right.
But fast-paced offenses like Memphis is running has been a problem for Utah State. And
it's interesting because they run that tempo.
I know.
You would think if you did it that you'd be good against it.
Well, you practice against it all the time, or you should practice against it all. When I coached with Gus Malzahn, we were good against it on defense because we went good on good. I'm not sure what Blake Anderson does there. If there's a lot of coaches that are fearful or scared to go good on good. I think the really good coaches, and I think that because that's what I believe. I think there's a lot of times you got to go best on best. I mean, you don't have to go out there and scrimmage all day long, but 8-9 plays a day or in a control situation, you put your best on best. We did that with Malzahn all the time at Arkansas State, and we were good against tempo teams. It doesn't make sense that Utah State is not good, but if Memphis gets a 2-score lead and is able to do that, then that takes the running game away from Utah State, and Memphis should roll if they do that. I hope so. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and not being in a hurry and enjoying watching the Tigers.
In terms of crowds, I really think that the Arkansas-Kansas AutoZone Liberty Bowl is going to be one of the better attended. I think they're going to get to 50,000 fans. You don't see that a lot in bowl games these days. How do you view that game? Kansas hungry, haven't been to a bowl game in 13 or 14 years. Arkansas trying to get momentum.
I hate to say this, but I see this as a troubled game for Arkansas. I think they've got just what you said there. Kansas is excited about being in the game. I'm not sure Arkansas is, but they've got coaching issues. Jefferson coming back is a big deal. But losing Barry Odom, they've got a couple of guys that got hurt, or whether or not with Poole not playing for Arkansas. Arkansas was awful on third downs all year long. Kansas has been very good on third downs. I think there'll be a lot of fans that'll be happy and that are happy to be in the Liberty Bowl. But I'm not sure Arkansas and their preparation. I just don't feel it from outside. I'm thinking I don't like the Jayhawks in this because I'm from Arkansas.
Right.
I don't like the Jayhawks, but I wouldn't touch this one. And my heart says Arkansas. My mind says Kansas.
All right. You're predicting Kansas in a very roundabout way, but that's what I just heard you say.
Way to go. Okay.
All right. And now the two games that count, TCU, Michigan, then Ohio State, Georgia, in your neck of the woods down at the Peach Bowl. How do you see these two games?
Oh, man. Okay. You know what? I have really spent a lot of time on this, and like everybody has. But Ohio State is scoring 44 points a game in a tough conference. I mean, the Big Ten. Bama showed Ohio State a possible blueprint. They scored a bunch of points. They had over 500 yards against Georgia. Georgia is a really good LSU threw for over 500. Ohio State, if they don't give up the explosives, that can happen. And C.J. Stroud, who gets the ball off quicker than maybe anybody in college football, and he is such a talented guy. I'm stepping out on a limb.
Whoa!
And see now, I am. I'm stepping out on a limb. Ohio State's got a chip on their shoulder. They're coming off a loss with Michigan. They're so pumped. And my man, Steel Chambers, who I spent a couple of hours with the other night, who's a linebacker for Ohio State, who I coached in high school. My man, Steel Chambers, has a great ball game, and the upset of the year, I'm taking Ohio State in this one. Come on.
Man, I'm almost starting to think you're anti-SEC. You've taken Kansas over Arkansas. Now you're taking Ohio State over Georgia. Already, man, this could be a terrible year for the SEC. I mean, think about it. Already, Wake knocked off Missouri. That would make them 0-3 if they're going by you. All right, now the TCU-Michigan game. How do you see that?
Well, I've been on Michigan all year long. I think they're a very, very good team. I think they've got great chemistry, but I'm afraid that Jim Harbaugh has overworked his team again. He did it last year. He's done it in bowl games. They were scheduled, and I don't know that this has gotten out a whole lot. They were scheduled to come home a day or two before Christmas. All right, everybody made plans. They've got their flights. Parents are happy. And then Harbaugh reschedules a practice for Christmas morning, or either it could have been Christmas Eve morning. I'm not sure about that, but extended them one day. Okay, now you say that, well, that doesn't matter. That's not, well, you got some chemistry issues with that. But I put that all back on, if he has not overworked his team, Michigan beats TCU. They're a big-time team. Michigan can win it all, and especially when they have the rematch with Ohio State. But if he has not overworked them and the chemistry stays there, Michigan easy, and then we'll see them how they play in the rematch against Ohio State.
Wow.
What you think about that? I threw it on you today, didn't I?
You did. I am very impressed. Can't wait to see if you are right or you are wrong, and we will talk about this.
I'm sure you will bring it up.
On January the 2nd. Oh, yes. On January 2nd, we will re-examine your credibility.
Well, that's been examined, and the people don't even try on that credibility anymore.
We
they know
love you.
there's
Come
none
on.
there.
Happy,
Thank you.
happy belated Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you
Thank you.
and your family, and we shall chat next Monday on the 2nd.
You guys have a great trip to Dallas, and then come on back and enjoy. Hey, the greatest bowl game there is, Liberty Bowl, 1997, Southern Miss versus Pittsburgh. Greatest time ever.
Really? That's interesting. That was your favorite.
Yeah, what a great game it was. Southern Miss beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
41-7. It was
Pretty good defense in that game, huh?
Three scores on defense. 3 scores on defense.
Dang.
But okay, Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, you can't beat it, man. Can't beat it.
I
the
love
best
it.
bowl game there is.
Harold Grader and Steve Earhart, love you for that. Thank you
care,
much,
bud.
man. That is
All right,
John
man.
Thompson.
Bye-bye.
He is our coach. He's brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. And you know, government regulations are driving each prices higher. It's the right time right now before they go into effect. Replace your old inefficient system with a new energy efficient heating and cooling system from my guys at Conway. If you call right now, the special deal is happening, I guess, for a little while longer. You get a free furnace, and they'll throw in a free Nest thermostat. A free furnace. I'm talking, you're saving a lot of money here, and you get new and efficient, wonderful equipment, and there's more than one brand name. 384-3511, Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. And I urge you, with the New Year's coming, you're probably out from Christmas. You got to restock. You got to go see Eddie Connor. My friends at the Spirit Shop are waiting for you. They will take care of you if you want to get educated about all the spirits, the new ones, the valuable ones, the up-and-comers, the bargains. You can find it at the Spirit Shop. That's right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar. It's that little log cabin that's straight down the road from Clark Tower. You can't miss it, and you will love it. It's very quaint inside. There is a lot of product. All the local IPAs are in there. All the accessories you could use to make your New Year's successful. All you got to do is get there in the heart of East Memphis. That is the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We're back in a minute. We'll chat Tiger Hoops with Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's right around the corner.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So I've got the whole holiday gift thing knocked.
I'm guessing it has something to do with Central Barbecue.
Why would you assume that?
This is a Central Barbecue commercial.
Well, as it turns out, yes, it has to do with Central Barbecue. This year I'm giving everyone Central Barbecue gift cards.
Oh, so this is a Central Barbecue gift card commercial.
It makes sense. Everyone loves Central Barbecue, and this way they get to pick what they want from Central Barbecue.
I like it.
Plus, and this is the best part, I get to put an exact number on just how valuable a relationship is to me.
That's the best part.
When I give someone their Central Barbecue gift card, they'll be able to see that they are worth exactly $20 to me. Keeps everyone honest.
Well, that should be their new slogan.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. Depending on how long you've been around, you've likely known my name for 30 years. Perhaps for my 20 years as the morning show on Kix 106 as the Young and Elder Show, or my 15 years at Brian Elder Roofing. So obviously, my reputation means everything to me. One terrible customer experience could tarnish a third of a century of goodwill. My reputation for quality and strong relationships is our main focus. We're the highest certification, a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. If you have a business or a commercial building, we're the highest certification for warranties with GAF and Mulehide products. We don't come at you in sales mode. If you got a problem, sometimes the solution is just to fix the problem. Call me right now. I'll come out and see you today. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue, so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain? If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, Don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids, and say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing, all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in the new year. I'm telling you, people are raving about these treatments. And appointments are available as soon as next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010 for QC Kinetics.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I always love talking to Jason Munz. We talk some Tigers. The non-conference season is over. Now we get into the nitty-gritty. Jason, bracketology is always intriguing. Lenardi's got Memphis a 6 seed in a pretty good position. Jerry Palm has the Tigers a 9 seed. Not in a good position to play Charleston, and then the number 1 Purdue. So what do you think is the ceiling if they were to, say, out of the 18 games, win 15 conference game and maybe even split with Houston? What is the ceiling for Memphis when it comes to seeding? Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, hello, Merry Christmas to you. Probably a 5-6, something like that. I mean, that's one win against Houston that, you know, if you're talking 3 losses in conference and you're splitting with Houston, then obviously one loss is to Houston, which is fine.
Right.
It's not going to hurt you. But it really depends, honestly. Like, the league is so down, who those other 2 losses come against. Is it against Cincinnati and UCF on the road?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You can handle that. I mean, like, that's not the end of the world, or it shouldn't be. Now, if you go and lose to, I don't know, USF or even Wichita at this stage, you definitely cannot afford a home loss.
What about a loss at Tulane? Because that's game 2. You're going to play USF, and you can't lose that game, and that's the return of Tyler Harris. But then you go to Tulane, and I got to tell you, I think they've underachieved. I look at their roster; it's pretty good. I don't understand how they've lost as many games as they have.
No, to me, they were like, I can't remember my exact prediction. I think I had Cincinnati picked to finish 3rd in the league, but I'm almost certain I had Tulane picked to finish 4th with like a chance to possibly, you know, even sneak up on some people. And it has been a little bit surprising that they have not performed very well. And so, yeah, like if they, I mean, you know, could it happen? Yeah, they could go down there and lose to Tulane on New Year's Day, 4:00 tip on a Sunday, New Year's Day. You know, like it's one of those games that could sneak up on anybody, really. But you know, so let's just, under this scenario, if they lose at Tulane, that means they've lost one more game to Houston. I mean, I think as long as the 3rd loss isn't to East Carolina or it's not to Tulsa, something like that,
or even like you say, Wichita or USF, you can't lose any of those games. You got to win both those.
Yeah, and again, you have to win everyone at home. Not excluding Houston. Pretty much every home game is a must-win at this stage. if you want to be in that 5, 6, 7 seed range.
What did you learn about this team in the non-conference, where they end up going 4-1 against the SEC, 6-1 against the Power Five?
That they are going to be difficult to beat from here on out. They were difficult to beat already, but I don't. And so I guess my answer is I don't see. What I learned is that they are hard to beat, and I don't see that changing. As long as injuries don't come into the picture any more than they already have. Obviously, they only dressed 8 guys against Alabama State the other night. So, they felt like they could, rest some guys and sit some guys and be cautious with some guys, and that was fine. But, you can't really afford for any major significant injuries to come into the picture, at least as we sit here today. Malcolm Dandridge is the only one, and you can weather 1 or 2, but as long as the key guys stay healthy and everybody else stays relatively healthy, then this is going to be a very difficult team to beat. They're old, they're long, they're athletic, and they're good, and they're well coached.
Well, and really they're deep. I mean, now you got Franklin, and he's going to make a big difference because he's really a good player. McCadden can help you in spots. So can Keontae Kennedy, and he's got to get healthy because he's missed the last 2 games with the concussion protocol. The only 2 guys I think you really cannot lose would be Williams and obviously Davis. If those 2 guys stay healthy, you got enough depth where you can lose a Dandridge for a while.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Like Elijah McCadden is not, you don't want to have to go into the NCAA tournament or the postseason relying on Elijah McCadden as your 4, or the guy that you give significant minutes to at the 4. But no, Jonathan Lawson has stepped up and played well the last couple of games. So Chandler Lawson has been giving this team really good minutes, and while obviously Kendrick Davis, DeAndre Williams, you could even throw DeMarie Franklin from a potential standpoint because he's only played in 2 games or 3 games. We need to see a little bit more before we can say that he is in that upper echelon just yet. But from a potential standpoint, he is. So as long as those guys stay healthy, and you've got guys like Keontae Kennedy, this team has gotten deep kind of all of a sudden. They've added Franklin. KO is playing well of late, and he is showing progression. It's not just like, to me, it's not just like he's beating up on the inferior competition. To me, he is showing that he is progressing, and you hope that continues. And if it does, then this team has gotten pretty deep all of a sudden. And
then throw in Ian Gradja, who they surprisingly played the other night, and you're not kidding. That's the end of that red shirt. We'll talk more about that next week. Happy New Year to you, your family. Always a pleasure chatting with you. We'll do it again Monday. I'll see you Thursday night at FedEx Forum.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. That is our man Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He is brought to you by the good folks at Old Dominic, and you're looking for something a little different to do with all the people in town. Go check out their tour of their distillery. I mean, it is really cool. And with sampling, there's craft cocktails. They got a cool bar there, by the way. And they finally released this brand new 2 products that we've been waiting literally a couple of years for. It's a sipping whiskey and a bond and bottle whiskey that are just superb. Alex Castle, their wonderful master distiller, she would not release this till it was perfect. It's perfect. I've tried it. You'll love it. Go check out the great Old Dominic Distillery, downtown Memphis, and you can get their product all over town. That'll do it for us. We'll talk to you from Dallas tomorrow. Johnny Radio is next. Have a great day, everybody.